Hi, I'm Frank Vero, and this is Frank Vero Design. I want to welcome you to the first video on my channel. It's currently, as this goes up, March 11th, 2021. That means in the US, we're entering 1 year of working from home, school from home, lockdown, quarantine, etc. And I know, at least for us, we were very unprepared for what that meant in terms of the long run. And I think for a lot of people, what that has turned into was that now people are realizing that remote work does actually work better than they thought it would. Maybe not people like us, people like CEOs are figuring out that employees can be pretty productive not sitting in office spaces. And what that means for us is that a lot of people are finding that they may be working from home full time, either because they got laid off and now need to be doing other work, or people started their own side businesses, or because they're just able to work from home either full or part time, potentially for years to come. And a lot of us, as I mentioned, were unprepared for what that meant when we started. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that in this first video and how I'm hoping this channel can help you to be better prepared for the next years to come. So for us, I know what happened was we happened to have a Friday off of work because we were actually planning on going on a weekend vacation with some friends on the weekend of March 17th. And then we didn't go in Friday, and Friday's when everybody got the email that, hey, when you come in Monday, grab whatever stuff you need, you're not coming back. So that led to a lot of people needing to go out and just buy whatever computer they could find, because they suddenly needed a computer that wasn't only for, the family to go on the internet and update Netflix queues and check emails and whatever, but suddenly any parents who work in the house needed to be able to be on a computer at the same time. And if a kid was in the house, they might need a computer as well to go to school. So people just kind of bum rushed Best Buy. And at a certain point, that meant you just had to buy whatever computer you could get. And that was fine for some people for a while. But it definitely started to wear on people. People could start to feel that sitting on their bed wasn't necessarily the best thing for their back. And using one monitor on a laptop that's only 13 inches kind of was hindering their productivity compared to their two 24-inch monitors at work that they were used to. So my wife and I were lucky. We each had a computer, but they were also 7 and 10 years old. So they were very much showing their age. And I was already planning before all of this to rebuild my computer. So I was starting to already do some of the research into what I wanted to get in a new computer. And what lockdown in that weekend really helped me realize is most people don't really understand a lot about how computers work on a really granular level. Like, a computer is essentially just math, and that it does the math and it tells you the answer to things, but that answer can be how to spell a word or whatever. So what I realized I have the ability to do is help other people understand those things better. So the first type of video I'm going to be posting is what I'm calling hardware demystified, where I'm going to try and go through and actually talk about when you're shopping for a computer or for computer parts, if you want to build one yourself, what all the numbers on the label means. Like when you go to Best Buy and it says that it's a Core i7 1070K or not, and what all these numbers mean, what the gigahertz is, how much RAM you should have. I'm going to do a series of videos talking about processors, RAM, graphics cards, so that you can start to have a better idea of, for the type of software you use, what you actually need in a computer. And that could include the fact that you've always kind of wanted to play computer games, but, spending $1,000 on a gaming computer didn't make sense for you. But maybe now that you find out that you kind of need a $700 computer for work if you want to be able to actually survive and stay sane, maybe it makes sense to spend the extra $300 to upgrade these two parts so that you can play Microsoft Flight Simulator. So that's going to be the first type of video, kind of breaking down those components into digestible, what you need to care about on a general basis and what the numbers mean. The second type of video I want to do is really looking at specific professions and hobbies and what type of computer I might recommend for those, and at varying price points. So, this summer I built my wife a computer for landscape architecture. So doing things like AutoCAD, but also light SketchUp and Photoshop. I built one of my coworkers' sons a computer to do work from home and some light gaming on. And I also built myself a computer to do not only landscape architecture work on, but more in-depth 3D modeling, editing YouTube videos, and doing a good amount of gaming. And so I want to talk about, in a series, different professions, because every profession uses different software, and every piece of software reacts to different types of hardware differently. And that's one thing where I love your feedback, either in the comments, or you can go to my website, frankverodesign.com, and contact me through there and tell me what work you do and what weird software you might use, so that I can add those so that you can figure out if you should care about multi-core processors or high-end graphics cards or something in between. So that's the second series. And sprinkled in there, I'm going to not only have kind of those prototypical videos on what type of hardware I'll put together, or I would put together, but I also want to do videos on like how I actually built this computer. So that if you decide you want to build a computer yourself, I'll walk you through that process and kind of how it works. So that'll be kind of a sprinkled in additional type of video. The other type of video I want to do is eventually get into more tutorial type videos. So that could be talking about Sheet Set Manager and AutoCAD, moving SketchUp models into Blender for better 3D models for presentation graphics for architects and landscape architects, or it could be vtable lookups in Excel. But the main thing is what I want to do with this whole channel, the whole idea, is to try to make it so that you're not just surviving and getting by doing working from home or working remotely, but I want to help you actually do the best you can do, the best work you can do, the most efficiently, for the best money for you, so that you're not throwing money away, but you're also not only doing as good as you would have done in the office, but ideally better. And in the rub, you might end up with something that after you clock off at the end of the day, you actually don't want to leave your computer chair because you want to log some hours flying a 747 above Prague, because that's a thing you can do. And I'm also, with that, going to talk sometimes about things like desks, using multiple monitors versus one monitor, having a good desk chair, laptop versus desktop, because for some people one of those or the other is a much better solution. So I want to talk about some of those things because they have cost impacts and flexibility impacts and performance impacts. So that's the idea for the channel. I already have some videos lined up, so I'll be posting back here soon. And what I ask you to do is, again, if you have questions about how this stuff works, let me know, comment. And then, because this is how YouTube works, I encourage you to like the video so that YouTube knows that people are interested, so that maybe it'll start to show these videos to other people. But also I ask you to subscribe so that as I post these new videos about RAM and graphics cards and what, you know, a PR writer for a university should have for a computer, you can see those videos too. Because you might not be a PR writer for a university, but maybe the job you do uses similar types of software, so you can start to parse out what you would need. And then, you know, tell your friends, your coworkers, other people you know that are also starting to work from, or continuing to work from home, and are going to be able to work remotely, or that just started their own business, to come watch so that they know maybe what type of upgrades they need, or so that if they start a business, so that when their IT person comes and tells them, if they have one, you should get this type of computer, they have some idea of what they're actually talking about, and they can have a better dialogue with them. So, as I'm sure you've heard many times if you watch YouTube, comment, like, subscribe. and yeah, go to frankverodesign.com. I'm going to write articles for all of these videos as well, so if you prefer to read stuff, you can check them out there. But in the time being, stay safe and get your vaccine. Thanks.